most underrated detail products in the world.
I'm Yvan.
I'm Nick.
And this is the DIY Detail Podcast. Now, what do you mean by underrated?
I mean the stuff that doesn't get the credit it deserves. Okay. The band that's been playing the dive bars for years and hasn't really gotten the big break they deserve.
Exactly. They didn't get that one hit up on the charts.
And maybe this is their platform to get just that.
Exactly. Well, one category is lighting. We have great lighting in here. And if you watched our earlier videos, the lighting wasn't so great. We're getting better and better at our lighting game, and in detailing, lighting is such an important thing to have.
The most basic way of putting it is, if I can't see it, I can't clean it.
Exactly. And you know, if we go into subcategories of lighting, headlights. You know, the little bands that go up here with the light, they're great, especially my personal favorite for interiors.
Yeah, scan grip headlights. I've tried them all. You know, live in Utah, lived in Colorado, lots of outdoorsy people. The black diamond headlamp, right?
Yeah.
Seems like the good thing to do when you're camping. The scan grip headlamp. I usually get 2 of them, not sponsored, no way affiliated.
No.
I leave one plugged in, so it's charging, and then I've got the other one. And they're so good for interiors, polishing your paint. I do love the scan grip headlamp for sure.
Exactly. The next one, water spot remover. Now, water spot remover, there's nothing sexy about water spots, there's nothing interesting about water spots, but we don't want water spots. And one mistake a lot of people make with a water spot remover is not having one in stock. So if you're a professional detailer, you need to have a water spot remover on your shelf ready to go just in case.
Water spot remover can be kind of a tricky term. You may want it to do everything for you. I'll tell you, my favorite thing with a water spot remover is to spray it on the side panels, so the driver, passenger doors. It's going to really help if you have a ceramic coating or any protection on your paint. It's going to attack the salt, because the salt is in fact quite alkaline.
Right.
And the water spot remover is more acidic. So it's going to break down that salt that's embedded in your paint. And once you rinse it off, so you'll spray it on, so you'll wash the car, you'll spray on the water spot remover, let it dwell a little bit. You can agitate it in with a wash mitt if you'd like, and then pressure wash it off.
Instant beading.
Beads come right back.
Yeah.
Now, it's called water spot remover, but it doesn't really get to every water spot. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right, so it's actually a mineral remover. So you're removing the minerals on the vehicle. And the reason I say you should have a water spot on hand, whether you're a professional detailer or just at home, have it sitting on the shelf. It's not gonna go bad, it's gonna last. But the day that you do see water spots on your vehicle, the sooner you remove them, the less damage they can do. So if you do actually get a water spot on there, you accidentally parked beside a sprinkler, or you didn't know there was a sprinkler there, and then bang, you come back and your car's just covered in water spots, go home, wash it, get the water spot remover on there as soon as you can. That way the minerals don't have time to work their way deeper and deeper into the clear coat, causing water spot etching.
I was gonna say, what do I do if I've parked my car, flat horizontal surface, it rains and then the sun comes out? You know, and one thought in my head I have is, okay, if I carry like a gallon of distilled water, I could spray the water spot remover on and then dump the distilled water on and then maybe spray some ceramic gloss and wipe. But do you have a more simple way of how do I get water spot remover on there fast to get those minerals off my paint?
Well, actually, rain should not cause water spots. Rain basically doesn't contain a lot of minerals. If you have a lot of minerals sitting on your car because of dust, then you might have a problem. But I wouldn't be worried too much about rain. I'm worried about city water, well water, things like that have a really high ppm. The water we have here in the shop is 256. On average, when we test it, 260. Not too bad. Some places are up to 400 and 500 parts per million of minerals in their water.
Whoa, where have you seen the hardest water?
Actually in Utah.
Really?
Yeah, your water is like 450 all the time.
It's ridiculous.
So, yeah.
That's why I'm so sensitive to water spots.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Water spot remover. Next.
I'm gonna say some noise canceling headphones. Now, I've been rocking the AirPods lately, but I had these really big Bose noise canceling headphones, and you've got a Master Blaster, a polisher, a vacuum. Everyone's gonna use a vacuum. There's so many things, a leaf blower. Like, having noise canceling headphones is going to make not only the detail more enjoyable,
Exactly.
because you got your podcast or your music or whatever, but it's just going to protect your hearing.
Exactly. And we only have one chance with our ears. So I'm in my 50s. I'm not wearing hearing aids yet. I actually have very sensitive hearing because I've worn earplugs and all sorts of ear protection all my life. So I don't have a problem with what a lot of people my age have, really, losing their hearing because they've abused their ears.
Yeah, I would say that helmets are cool when you're on a bike because your personality is here, and so you don't want to lose that if you get in a crash.
Yeah.
I'm saying helmets are cool, and earplugs may not look cool, but earbuds or noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
You get what you want, they look cool, and you protect your hearing. So it's kind of a win-win there.
And you can listen to music at the same time.
Ivan is a big music guy.
Yeah.
He sings a lot, and I'm going to get one of those little bloopers on one of these videos someday.
No.
Classic rock fan.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing, foamers. Now, I'm not talking about the foam cannon foamers. I'm talking about like the IK or Marilex foamer that you pump up, and then you can spray APC. You can spray whatever you want on your vehicle, but in a foam instead of in a liquid. And that makes it hyperactive. It makes the cleaning easier and better.
One thing that I really like, I think is kind of underrated, is a good nitrile glove.
Yes. Well, actually, personal protection equipment, PPE, whether it be the gloves, whether it be the ear protection, eye protection. I'm always wearing glasses. Nick doesn't wear glasses. There are times when we don't have him do a certain operation because of that. So having the personal protection equipment, and if you're using something like a wheel acid in your shop, definitely you want full-on PPE. So the rubber gloves, full sleeves, full-length pants, not flip-flops, acid-resistant shoes, the whole 9 yards. So personal protection equipment. Back in the day when we had gold chains and polyester leisure suits, PPE was not cool, but today it is.
Yeah, cigarettes were cool back then. I suppose they might be cool to some folks out there today.
Yeah, who knows?
But I digress, as I often do. As you were talking, I was listening, but I was also thinking of something else that I think is kind of underrated. And I did mention the nitrile gloves. I just want to mention, some of them have the little points, the little dots.
Right.
Kind of the texture.
Yeah.
And those can be fantastic for agitating carpet hairs and getting the dog hairs off of them.
Right.
So if you get the right glove,
yes,
it's going to sort of change your whole perspective on interior detailing. They're not all created equal.
Yeah, and nice segue, a dog hair removal tool of some sort. There's a lot of them out there, they all work. But I've seen a lot of people just trying to vacuum and vacuum and vacuum. You're not going to get it up with a vacuum cleaner. You need some assistance. So there's a lot of things out there. There's the fur dozer. There's the recycled plastic. It looks like pumice, but it's actually not a pumice stone. But the plastic rocks like that. There's the for real. There's a lot of different attachments, a lot of different things. The lily brush, you name it, it's out there. It is going to help you.
Yeah, and you want one of those. Another thing that may not be a DIY product necessarily, but I think it's kind of underrated, is an air mover. So often when people are spraying cleaner on their carpets or their seats,
right,
you get it kind of wet, and maybe you get it past the point of no return where it gets really wet, and you don't want to go into your car in wet seats.
No.
You don't want wet carpeting. What's really good for carpets or seats is rapid drying.
Yes.
So air movers aren't cheap, probably $50 to $100 on Amazon. We don't sell any of them, but they just blast air. Some of them blast hot air, and you can just put them inside of the seat of a car, and they just help to dry. So not something you're probably owning right now.
No.
That's why it's a little underrated. It's a little more niche, but some detailers know this. All carpet cleaners use them. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think it's kind of an underrated tool. They're very nice in the moment when you need them.
Yeah, when you need them. Because a wet interior is not a healthy interior. You want to get it as dry as you possibly can, as quickly as possible. Another thing in terms of health and safety is knee pads. Now, I'm a fan. This is a product that's been around for decades. It's designed for flooring contractors, and it's called the Rack Attack. It is just an amazing tool, but they're not cheap. They're like $250. They last forever. I've had mine over 10 years. It's still rolling strong. But even just a set of strap-on knee pads, they are great. They're going to protect your knees. You're not going to have problems with your knees later on in life.
I bought a pair of knee pads, and I just found them kind of prohibitive to the detail. Like, I got them, I had every intention of using them, and just didn't. And they just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
I got the Rack Attack Creeper, and it's phenomenal. And in fact, I think I ended up putting a more plush, like bicycle, like banana bicycle seat on there, something with a lot of cushion, and it just still lasts.
Yeah. Now, one other thing that's out there that, along the same vein, there's a few companies that make workwear. You know, Carhartt, Dickies, things like that. They have pants that have padded inserts in the knees. So you're always wearing your knee pads, but you don't feel them.
Speaking of clothing, I think a good pair of footwear is a little underrated.
Yes.
For me as a mobile detailer back in the day, don't do mobile anymore, but in Park City, Utah, very cold, wintry conditions, unheated garages where it's like, what am I doing with my life? You know?
Yes.
But some people out there are going to want to clean their cars, and you live in a wintry environment. I would wear these big muck boots, and people would kind of make fun of me because farmers wear these, but they are insulated. They're up to your knees. They do not get wet. So if you're doing a little bit of pressure washing, whether it's a hot or cold day, it's definitely going to be tough on a hot day.
Yeah.
But comfortable footwear is just, especially if you're going to get wet in the garage doing a winter detail, it's a big deal.
Yeah, having warm, dry feet is amazing. Now, another thing, if you're on your feet a lot, whether you're detailing or not, one thing I learned from an old restaurateur who was always walking around his restaurant all day long. His restaurant opened at 7 a.m. and he was there, and it closed at 11 p.m. He was still there. And last time he was in his restaurant before he sold his restaurant, the man is in his 80s. And he's walking around the restaurant all day, happy, chipper, all that. He changes his shoes every 2 hours. Now,
every 2 hours?
Every 2 hours. He has like 2 or 3 pairs of shoes in the store and just changes his shoes every 2 hours, and it repositions your back, it repositions your legs, because every shoe is a little different, and it's like starting a new day. So I did the same in my shop. It's a trick I learned from him 30 years ago, and still to this day, I'll change shoes throughout the day.
One thing I just thought of might be a little underrated. A proper knife or a Leatherman or whatever, like, what do you feel like? Is that underrated, overrated, appropriately rated? There's always some time where you want to open a box or cut something, or does that just belong in a tool chest somewhere, or do you think having one of those on you can be pretty helpful?
To me, it's a tool chest thing, but yes, having one in the shop or in your mobile unit, definitely you need one.
I always felt like they came in handy when I needed them most.
Yeah.
One thing you may not even think about, okay, all triggers are created equal. I don't think they are. I think a proper trigger sprayer is underrated.
Right. There are some that are really, they look cute, sexy, whatever, but they're really cheap in hand. And a good quality pressure sprayer with a long enough arm that you can get more than one finger on it, that's going to last, that's not going to break down, that's always going to give you a consistent spray pattern, that is a great thing. And one brand that I particularly like, and it's actually the ones we use here, is Talco. They've been around for a long time. They're known in the industry. They're solid. They work, and they just are great sprayers.
Another thing that might be a little underrated is the vacuum that you choose. Not all vacuums are created equal.
No.
Now, you can get anything done with a little bit of willpower and elbow grease, and the best equipment in the world might make it faster, but you can get the same result. So a vacuum will work. But different vacuums are going to make your life a lot easier with more suction. More suction and less noise. There are some really quiet vacuums out there that do a great job. They're phenomenal. And there are vacuums that have, like in my shop, we had what was called a drain vac. And it is a water filtered vacuum cleaner. So there's no filter in the vacuum cleaner. We never had to empty the vacuum cleaner because as soon as the vacuum turns on, there's a slight mist of water that goes in. It's cyclonic separation, and it goes down the drain. Wow. So they're industrial vacuums. It's not something you're going to have at home. But in a shop atmosphere with a central vac, they're extremely powerful. The one I had 4 motors on it. So if you just have one branch that's open, it's only one motor running. If you have 2 branches open, 2, 3, 4, etc. So you have the power you need all the time, great suction, no filters, no dust, just nice, good functioning vacuum cleaner. 2 other underrated items that you can find in your house. Yeah. A toothbrush. Yes, toothbrush. You can get into amazing places. Don't throw your old toothbrushes away. Now, don't go and use your spouse's toothbrush for detailing. Not a good thing. It's not going to turn out well.
But if you have an old toothbrush, don't throw it away, keep it. There's a lot of little areas you can get into with a toothbrush.
And finally, we want to talk about organizational tools. One thing that I've never had until this DIY Detail Garage, it's pretty simple, just an extension cord reel. Like, they're amazing.
Right, you pull on it, it goes away. It makes your life easier. You don't have cords laying around. You don't have to sit there and wind the cord. Same thing with hose reels. We have one for the pressure washer. We have one for the garden hose. They're amazing. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. They keep you organized. And there's a lot of other organizational tools that you can have in your shop. Like, we have these racks on the wall. We have a cart. A cart is an amazing detailing tool. If you're at home in your garage, you need just a small detailing cart. Doesn't need to be huge, but that small detailing cart, you can do mise en place, which means preparing everything ahead. So you know you're going to be doing an interior detail. Everything you need for your interior detail, you put on that cart. You know you're going to be detailing the outside of your car. Move the interior stuff away, put it back on the shelf, and put all your exterior detailing products on the cart. The cart follows you around the car, just like a bucket dolly. A bucket dolly is...
Oh, that's another underrated item.
Yeah, it's something to me that is essential. Now, a bucket dolly takes a little bit of time to train it. You know, you'll need 4 or 5, maybe 6 washes to train the bucket dolly to follow you around the vehicle. But once you've trained that bucket dolly to follow you around the vehicle, it's like a puppy dog. It's just following you everywhere. It's right there when you need it. You can reach down in the water, pet it, and keep going.
Uncle Yvan, crazy Uncle Yvan with all his ideas. Yvan, you have so many tips and tricks, but I know folks out there do as well. What is an underrated detailing item? What is something that has helped you with efficiency, organization, something you wish more people knew about? Because we all want to help each other out. It's fun. Detailing is fun. Talking about detailing is fun. The fact that you've watched this far means you think the same thing. Yvan, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. What are your favorite detailing products? What are your products that you think are underrated and everybody should have?
And what are you waiting for? Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.